Today, on the Early Morning Show, this 32-year-old mother was found not guilty by knowingly having sex with a 14-year-old boy. Are our boys in trouble? Let's cue the rooster and get this show started.
Every time I need that shit, devil make another.
Hey man, if you got something that you believe in and you believe that you can do it and nobody else do, just go for it. It's your life.
My life is moving fast, I gotta slow it down. Yeah, now I got it, they all come around. But when I ain't have it, they nowhere to be found. Yeah, I had to stick with the ones who stay down. And now a lot of people say I changed on them, because I'm whipping in the range on them. I don't think I'm acting different, I just found out that these folks ain't in my interest. And you ain't got a lot of kick it. I messed around and pulled a whole foe up. Banging zero, I roll up. I don't do it, boy, you gotta grow up.
You know, it goes without saying that women who chase young boys are wrong. And you know how I know this? Because women remind men on a daily basis that it is wrong for older men to bother younger girls. The only thing we need to do now is have a single standard instead of a double standard within and without the same court system. And I really can't blame the women and teachers who do this to young boys as much as I blame the perverted judges that preside and decide to shorten the sentences of women who do this to boys and lengthen the sentences of men who do this very same behavior to young girls. You see, women in society that suggest that maybe these boys are lucky or that they wanted it, just as well as the men who say this. That's a perverted sense. You see, when you make these type of suggestions, this is from an adult mindset who has experience with sex and adult entertainment. This is not from a child's point of view who can't even keep his room clean, let alone be able to please a woman of an adult age. So we won't even go there. Now, let me give you the facts of the case, and you can decide how you would have sentenced this woman. Now, also, if you live in this country that she does, you can write the court system anytime you see a case like this. We exist as adults to advocate for children. That's what we do by attaining adulthood. And not just female children, males alike. When we send boys a message that they have no value in our eyes, don't expect them to see us as gold. Anyways, let's not go any further. Here's the case. A 32-year-old mother, I'll say again, a 32-year-old mother was found not guilty of knowingly having sex with a 14-year-old boy after luring him to her home as he played football outside with a friend. Now, 32 and 14, slight difference, double the age, right? Typically in these cases where these women do this, the male child is always half her age. Secondly, these women are usually married and have children of their own. In this case, she had children also, but she was single. Her name is Tia Vincent, and she is a British mother of 3 young children. Her excuse for trying to have sex with a 14-year-old boy in court was that she thought he was 16 and of legal age to consent for sex. Now, I don't know what the age is in that country, but in this country, it's not 16 with twice the age women. Now, even if that were the case, she still would be twice his age, and a woman who would most assuredly look down on any man who would do the same thing, and especially to her daughter, by luring them into a house. But this innocent mother and pedophile got off because the jury cleared Miss Vincent in Gloucester Crown Court, which is located in Gloucester, England, and made her innocent. Now, late evidence brought before the court revealed the child had set his date of birth on Facebook to the year 2000, which would make him over 16 at the time of their encounter. But this is tricky. This revelation is nothing more than lawyer jargon to get their client off. That's all what lawyers do. They find some kind of twist in the case to blame somebody else. Sure, he set his age higher, just like any young person would do in order to be able to play video games on the site. And this is in his own words. He said he did this so he could play games on the site. But the woman that touched him had no idea of his Facebook site. When lawyers do these kind of tactics, They are seeking to blame shift a crime from the defendant to the plaintiff. Always from the defendant to the plaintiff. It's their job to get the person off. So Miss Vincent, which is her name, she vehemently denied she knew the boy was underage, telling the court she was confident he had told her he was 16. Now, the child he denied her claim. He said, he didn't tell her that. But I suggest to you that in the Me Too environment, the rule should apply both ways in trusting the victim, even if he is a young male. The prosecutor, Mr. Christopher Smythe, told a jury that Miss Vincent offered two boys that she watched playing football water near her home. So just like any male that goes after a young person, I got the candy, she offered water. This was her lure to draw the young boys back to her home. The boys did return to her home, and she had one go with her to her bedroom upstairs. Now, rightly or wrongly, he followed her, so that's not even debatable. But you can't blame him any more than society blames the adult victims of Mr. Weinstein, who touched women inappropriately. Now, we're not going to debate Weinstein's character. We can say that's horrible. Indeed, Weinstein had many faults, but none of them involved leading a child into a sex act. Remember, none of them involved leading a child into a sex act. In that back room, Miss Vincent, without hesitation, did knowingly initiate a sex with that child, which she admits, before the boy pushed her off and fled the room. Now, I ask you, does this sound like a boy who society would say wanted it? But in defense of herself in court, an emotional Miss Vincent, who wept as she was discharged from court as a free woman, changed her tune outside. See, it's always a ploy in court. Everybody says the woman is innocent. Maybe he wanted it. Now, outside of court, her remorse and fainting victim withered away quickly as she joined in a gleeful picture with her friend, in which she posted on Facebook. With her arms raised high in the air, she wrote as a footnote under that picture, "Not guilty." Okay? That wasn't enough. She wanted to go on. She says to everybody, "Thank you, everyone that stood behind me and believed me. It's been the hardest 2 years of my life," she wrote. So the case went on for 2 years. And then they still pronounced this woman innocent. Also at the bottom, she says, "Welcome 2021 for me and my kids." Now, do you realize she would have gotten more time at her age for slapping him or stealing his football because he was a minor than sleeping with him? So we don't have to judge whether you say he liked it or not, or he's not a female. What we do for minors in one case versus another, does that make sense? Which brings us to today and a current update on this story. What do you suppose an innocent mother of 3 who chases boys she allegedly thought were 16 would be doing to rehabilitate her future and her life? That's right. If you guess, she is opening her own OnlyFans page. She says she is doing this because she is already hated for having sex with a minor child. So this innocent victim and pillar of the community is ready to cash in on the X-rated OnlyFans account. Not the regular one, but the X-rated one. Character and behavior always continue, right? So Ms. Vincent tells how she has been abused on social media despite the not guilty verdict. So she's saying that in court they pronounce you not guilty. Even if you are, people should go with that. In her own words, "I'm getting abuse on Facebook like you wouldn't believe. It's all so hurtful and wrong." She says, "I've got people on Facebook I've never met telling me I'm a bad mother. And that is really upsetting because my kids are my world," she says. Her kids are her world. Remember? When she touched the first child and now the OnlyFans. They're still in the same house. "The fact is, I've been acquitted by a jury and people need to respect that," she says. She goes on to say, "It's time for me to try and rebuild my life and just get on with it once again." So, during the trial, jurors heard how the boy had been playing football with a friend near Miss Vincent's home, right? When she was invited them in for a drink, right? She had no need to do that. If you want to give somebody a drink, you have kids, you don't give them a drink. If you want to bring them a drink, bring it outdoors. She was then accused of taking one of her teens upstairs where she stripped off and they had sex. She later said she was sure he had told her he was 16 and looked much older, right? So what do you call that when guys chase younger girls? That's wrong, right? Now, giving evidence, she added, "He definitely didn't tell me he was in year 9 of that, he was only 14 years before he had sex. Now, the court heard he had given a false date of birth on his Facebook profile, making him appear older than his 14 years. See, he claimed he never told Miss Vincent he was 16 going on 17, and blamed the wrong date of birth on his new phone he received for his 13th birthday, and that was just to play games on Facebook, because they won't let you do it without a certain age, right? So, in his summing up to the jury before they retired to consider the verdict, Judge Lan Laurie told them, the issue in the case are straightforward. It comes to the question of the boy's age, he said. The victim was a young virgin, and she was a lot older than him. If that was so, then why was the decision made to let him go? So, he said, being more than twice his age at the time she was, Miss Vincent took the lead sexually, he said. Miss Vincent stated that the boy was flirting with her before he was taken upstairs to her bedroom. She said he was flirting before. But if a guy did this, it would make no sense, right? If Weinstein said this, it would make no sense, right? This might seem to be stretching credibility, as he was naive about sexual matters, the judge says. Miss Vincent had never met the boy before, right? But had seen friends of his who were a lot older than him. So remember, you can't go by the Facebook post because she had never met this guy before. She said she believed he was much older. Now, tell me what you think of Miss Vincent. And don't hold back like you would on a male case. Remember, if the guy does it, he should be hanged. He should be lynched. He should be arrested. He should be put in an electric chair. And for those who would suggest that we shouldn't say bad things about women, I say to you, is it bad we say such things? Or is it bad that they do such things? Let us know. Give this video a thumbs up. Love you guys as usual. See you another day. Have a great afternoon.
Every time I need that shit, devil make another.
Hey man, if you got something that you believe in and you believe that you can do it and nobody else do, just go for it. It's your life.